Belfast is the capital and largest city of Northern Ireland. Most of Belfast, including the city centre, is in County Antrim, but parts of East and South Belfast are in County Down. It is on the floodplain of the River Lagan. The city's motto is Pro tanto quid retribuum ius, by population before the 2015 council reform. Belfast was the 17th largest city in the United Kingdom and the second largest on the island of Ireland. It is the seat of the devolved government and legislative Northern Ireland Assembly. At the time of the 2011 census, the city of Belfast had a population of 286,000. With the 2015 council reform it is 333,871 and lies at the heart of the Belfast urban area, which has a population of 483,418, and the Belfast metropolitan area, which had a population of 579,276 at the 2001 census. The larger urban zone, as defined by the European Union, had an estimated total population of 673,000 on 1 January 2012. Belfast was granted city status in 1888. Historically, Belfast has been a centre for the Irish linen industry, tobacco processing, rope-making and shipbuilding. The city's main shipbuilders, Holland and Wolff, which built the well-known RMS Titanic, propelled Belfast onto the global stage in the early 20th century as the biggest and most productive shipyard in the world. Belfast played a key role in the Industrial Revolution, establishing its place as a global industrial centre until the latter half of the 20th century. Industrialization and the inward migration it brought made Belfast, if briefly, the biggest city in Ireland at the beginning of the 20th century. And the city's industrial and economic success was cited by unionist opponents of Home Rule as a reason why Ireland should shun devolution, and later, why Ulster Unionists in particular would fight to resist it. Today, Belfast remains a centre for industry, as well as the arts, higher education, business, and law, and is the economic engine of Northern Ireland. The city suffered greatly during the period of conflict called the Troubles, but latterly has undergone a sustained period of calm, free from the intense political violence of former years, and substantial economic and commercial growth. Additionally, Belfast city centre has undergone considerable expansion and regeneration in recent years, notably around Victoria Square. Belfast is served by two airports: George Best Belfast City Airport in the city, and Belfast International Airport 15 miles west of the city. Belfast is a major port, with commercial and industrial docks dominating the Belfast Lough shoreline, including the famous Holland and Wolff shipyard. Belfast is a constituent city of the Dublin-Belfast corridor, which has a population of 3 million, or half the total population of the island of Ireland. Belfast is listed by the Globalization and World Cities Research Network as a global city, with a ranking of Gamma. Name. The name Belfast is derived from the Irish Bethesda, which was later spelled Bethesda. The word Bethesda means mouth or river mouth, while Festa is the genitive singular of Fersed and refers to a sandbar or tidal ford across a river's mouth. The name would thus translate literally as mouth of the sandbar or mouth of the ford. This sandbar was formed at the confluence of two rivers at what is now Donegal Quay: the Lagan, which flows into Belfast Lough, and its tributary the Farset. This area was the hub around which the original settlement developed. The Irish name Bethesda is shared by a townland in County Mayo, whose name has been anglicised as Belfast. An alternative interpretation of the name is mouth of the river of the sandbar, an allusion to the river Farset. which flows into the lagoon where the sandbar was located. This interpretation was favored by Edmund Hogan and John O'Donovan. It seems clear, however, that the river itself was named after the tidal crossing. In Ulster Scots, the name of the city is Belfast or Belfast, although Belfast is also used. History. Although the county borough of Belfast was created when it was granted city status by Queen Victoria in 1888, the city continues to be viewed as straddling County Antrim and County Down. Origins. The site of Belfast has been occupied since the Bronze Age. The Giant's Ring, a 5,000-year-old henge, is located near the city, and the remains of Iron Age hill forts can still be seen in the surrounding hills. Belfast remained a small settlement of little importance during the Middle Ages. John de Courcy built a castle on what is now Castle Street in the city centre in the 12th century. But this was on a lesser scale and not as strategically important as Carrickfergus Castle to the north, which was built by de Courcy in 1177. The O'Neill clan had a presence in the area. In the 14th century, Clowen Aodh Bidhi, descendants of Aodh Bidhi O'Neill, built Grey Castle at Castlereagh, now in the east of the city. Con O'Neill of the Clannaboy O'Neills owned vast lands in the area and was the last inhabitant of Grey Castle, one remaining link being the Conswater River flowing through East Belfast. Growth. Belfast became a substantial settlement in the 17th century after being established as a town by Sir Arthur Chichester, which was initially settled by Protestant English and Scottish migrants at the time of the plantation of Ulster. In 1791, the Society of United Irishmen was founded in Belfast, after Henry Joy McCracken and other prominent Presbyterians from the city invited Theobald Wolfstone and Thomas Russell to a meeting, after having read Tone's argument on behalf of the Catholics of Ireland. Evidence of this period of Belfast's growth can still be seen in the oldest areas of the city, known as the Entries. Belfast blossomed as a commercial and industrial centre in the 18th and 19th centuries and became Ireland's preeminent industrial city. Industries thrived, including linen, rope-making, tobacco, heavy engineering and shipbuilding, and at the end of the 19th century, Belfast briefly overtook Dublin as the largest city in Ireland. The Holland and Wolff shipyards became one of the largest shipbuilders in the world, employing up to 35,000 workers. In 1886, the city suffered intense riots over the issue of Home Rule, which had divided the city. In 1920–22, Belfast became the capital of the new entity of Northern Ireland as the island of Ireland was partitioned. The accompanying conflict cost up to 500 lives in Belfast, the bloodiest sectarian strife in the city until the Troubles of the late 1960s onwards. Belfast was heavily bombed during World War II. In one raid, in 1941, German bombers killed around 1,000 people and left tens of thousands homeless. Apart from London, this was the greatest loss of life in a night raid during the Blitz. The Troubles. Belfast has been the capital of Northern Ireland since its establishment in 1921 following the Government of Ireland Act 1920. It had been the scene of various episodes of sectarian conflict between its Catholic and Protestant populations. These opposing groups in this conflict are now often termed Republican and Loyalist respectively, although they are also referred to as Nationalist and Unionist. The most recent example of this conflict was known as the Troubles, a civil conflict that raged from around 1969 to 1998. Belfast saw some of the worst of the Troubles in Northern Ireland, particularly in the 1970s, with rival paramilitary groups formed on both sides. Bombing, assassination and street violence formed a backdrop to life throughout the Troubles. The Provisional IRA detonated 22 bombs within the confines of Belfast city centre in 1972, on what is known as Bloody Friday. killing 11 people. Loyalist paramilitaries including the Ulster Volunteer Force and the Ulster Defence Association claimed that the killings they carried out were in retaliation for the IRA campaign. Most of their victims were Catholics with no links to the Provisional IRA, a particularly notorious group based on the Shankill Road in the mid-1970s, became known as the Shankill Butchers. In all, over 1,600 people were killed in political violence in the city between 1969 and 2001. Sporadic violent events continue as of 2015. Update. Although not supported by the previous antagonists who had reached political agreement in 1998. Governance. Belfast was granted borough status by James VI and I in 1613 and official city status by Queen Victoria in 1888. Since 1973 it has been a local government district under local administration by Belfast City Council. Belfast is represented in both the British House of Commons and in the Northern Ireland Assembly. For elections to the European Parliament, Belfast is within the Northern Ireland constituency. Local government. Belfast City Council is the local council with responsibility for the city. The city's elected officials are the Lord Mayor of Belfast, Deputy Lord Mayor and High Sheriff who are elected from among 51 councillors. The first Lord Mayor of Belfast was Daniel Dixon, who was elected in 1892. The current Lord Mayor is Councillor Nicola Mallon of Social Democratic and Labour Party, while the Deputy Lord Mayor is Mayor Hendron of the Alliance Party, both of whom were elected in June 2014 to serve a one-year term. The Lord Mayor's duties include presiding over meetings of the council, receiving distinguished visitors to the city, and representing and promoting the city on the national and international stage. In 1997, Unionists lost overall control of Belfast City Council for the first time in its history, with the Alliance Party of Northern Ireland gaining the balance of power between nationalists and unionists. This position was confirmed in the three subsequent council elections, with mayors from Nationalist Sinn Féin and Social Democratic and Labour Party, and the Cross-Community Alliance Party regularly elected since. The first Nationalist Lord Mayor of Belfast was Alban McGuinness of the SDLP, in 1997. The last elections to Belfast City Council were held on 5 May 2011, with the city's voters electing 51 councillors across 9 district electoral areas. The election saw nationalist councillors outnumber unionist councillors for the first time, with Sinn Féin becoming the largest party. 16 Sinn Féin, 15 Democratic Unionist Party, 8 SDLP, 6 Alliance Party, 3 Ulster Unionist Party, 2 Progressive Unionist Party, and 1 Independent. Belfast Council takes part in the twinning scheme, and is twinned with Nashville, in the United States, Hefei in China, and Boston, in the United States. Northern Ireland Assembly and Westminster. For more details on this topic, see Northern Ireland Assembly and Parliament of the United Kingdom. As Northern Ireland's capital city, Belfast is host to the Northern Ireland Assembly at Stormont, the site of the devolved legislature for Northern Ireland. Belfast is divided into 4 Northern Ireland Assembly and UK parliamentary constituencies: North Belfast, West Belfast, South Belfast and East Belfast. All 4 extend beyond the city boundaries to include parts of Castlereagh, Lisburn and Newtownabby districts. In the Northern Ireland Assembly elections in 2011, Belfast elected 24 members of the Legislative Assembly, 6 from each constituency. Belfast elected 8 Sinn Féin, 7 DUP, 4 SDLP, 3 Alliance Party, and 2 UUP MLAs. In the 2015 UK general election, Belfast elected 1 MP from each constituency to the House of Commons at Westminster, London. This comprised 2 DUP, 1 SDLP, and 1 Sinn Féin. Coat of arms and motto. The city of Belfast has the Latin motto, Pro tanto quid retribuum ius. This is taken from Psalm chapter 116 verse 12 in the Latin Vulgate Bible and is literally, "For so much what shall we repay?" The verse has been translated in Bibles differently, for example as, "What shall I render unto the Lord for all his benefits toward me?" It is also translated as, "In return for so much, what shall we give back?" The Queen's University Students' Union Rag Week publication PTQ derives its name from the first three words of the motto. The coat of arms of the city are blazoned as party professor argent and azure, in chief a pile vert and on a canton gules a belle argent, in base of ship with sails set argent on waves of the sea proper. This heraldic language describes a shield that is divided in two horizontally. The top of the shield is silver, and has a point-down triangle with a repeating blue and white pattern that represents fur. There is also a red square in the top corner on which there is a silver bell. It is likely that the bell is an example here of canting heraldry, representing the first syllable of Belfast. In the lower part of the shield there is a silver sailing ship shown sailing on waves colored in the actual colors of the sea. The supporter on the dexter side is a chained wolf, while on the sinister is a seahorse. The crest above the shield is also a seahorse. These arms date back to 1613, when James VI and I granted Belfast town status. The seal was used by Belfast merchants throughout the 17th century on their signs and trade coins. A large stained glass window in the City Hall displays the arms, where an explanation suggests that the seahorse and the ship refer to Belfast's significant maritime history. The wolf may be a tribute to the city's founder, Sir Arthur Chichester, and refer to his own coat of arms.